And girls, welcome back to another math session. In this session we will be adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing decimals. Alright, let's go ahead and start out with adding and subtracting decimals. Alright, here's a quick example of adding decimals. Remember, the first rule is to line up your decimal places, 12 and 4/10. Let's say we have 2 and 8/10. We're adding. So line your decimal places up, first step. Next step, bring your decimal placement down. And then go ahead and add as you normally would. 4 plus 8 is 12, 2 carry the 1. 2 plus 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. And 1 plus 0 is 1, bring it on down. So again, just remember, line your decimal place values up and add as you normally would. Same thing applies for subtraction. All right, here's a subtraction problem. Let's say we go with 13 and 8/10 minus 2 and 9/10. Okay, with subtraction, you have to verify if you have to regroup first. So in this case, we do have to regroup because you cannot take 8 minus 9 cannot take place. Therefore, you're going to add 10 to 8, and it's going to now become 18. You need to continue the borrowing process until you get here, because this can take place. You can take 1. You can borrow a 3, 1 from a 3. This is going to now become a 2. You can go ahead and subtract this now. 18 minus 9 is 9. We're going to bring our decimal placement down again. 2 minus 2 is 0. And then 1 minus 0 is 1. So if you were to add 2 and 9/10 back to this, you would get 13 and 8/10, just to check your work. Again, we've been using estimation. So if I use estimation to check this, I would go $12.40 is close to 12. $2.80 is close to 3. This would be an outcome of 15. Is this very close? Is reasonable answer? Yes, it is. Let's check for reasonableness here. So we have $13.80, so I'm going to round it to 14, minus $2.90, I'm going to round it to 3. I'm going to subtract this. I'm going to get 11 as my outcome. Is this very reasonable? Yes, it is a reasonable answer. So don't forget to do that. All right, the next step is multiplying decimals. So let's go with 12 and 32/100 times 4 and 2/10. Now, multiplication again is repeated addition, so we don't have to line up our decimals in this case. In this case, we just have to count our decimal place values. So there's 2 there, 1, 2 to make it a whole number, and we have another one here, so that's a total of 2 plus 1, which gives us an outcome of 3. So in our answer, which is our product, we need to move our decimal place 3 places to the left. All right, let's go ahead and multiply as you normally would. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 2 is 4. And 2 times 1 is 2. Go to your next place value. We're going to the tens place now. We need to put a placeholder. I'd use a dash. You can use a 0. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 3 is 12. 2 carry the 1. 4 times 2 again is 8, plus 1 is 9. And then 4 times 1 is 4. Go ahead and add this and get your outcome. We have 4, 14 carry, 6, 7, 11 carry, 5. Now, the decimal place. 3 places. So every whole number, the decimal is after the ones place on the right hand side. So 3 places over, 1, 2, 3. Our final answer is 51 and 744 thousandths. I'm going to erase this for a second. I'm going to go to division of decimals. Now, dividing decimals. First, I'll show you dividing a decimal by a whole number, but you don't have to do anything but bring the decimal place up. Then we'll discuss dividing decimals by decimals. Okay. All right. So here's dividing. Let's go 14. We're going to be dividing, let's say 43 and 26/100. 43 and 26/100. We're dividing that by 14. Now, when dividing decimals, when you're dividing a decimal by a whole number, the only process is to bring your decimal place value up within your quotient, which is your answer. at the top of the division bar. Now you can go ahead and divide as you normally would. 14 goes into 43 3 times with a difference of 42. You would subtract this, you're going to get 1. 14 cannot go into 1, therefore you bring down the 2. 14 still can't go into 12, therefore you now need to annex a 0 in your quotient, again, which is your answer. Then when you bring down the 6 now, 14 can go into 126 9 times. You can just use the guess and check. I'm thinking 9 times what will give me a 6 in the ones place, 9 times 4, so that was my guess and check. You got to go ahead and subtract this because it is an outcome of 126. And you will get 0 as your final answer when you subtract as a difference. Now, you cannot have a denominator or a remainder, in dividing decimals. So this is dividing decimals by a whole number. All right, there's one more step where we have dividing decimals by decimals. All right, problem? All right, we're going to use 3 4/10. We're going to be dividing, let's say, 57 8/10 by 3 4/10. Now, the process of dividing decimals by decimals is a bit different. In a sense, you cannot divide decimals by decimals. You need to transform this denominator into a whole number. How we do that, we move the decimal place one place over to the right. So now we have 34. So the unique rule is whatever you do outside of the house, the division bar, the divisor house, you do inside. So I move it one place over here. So over here I move my decimal place one place over here. And now I can annex my decimal at the top of my division bar. So again, whatever you have to do outside of the house to make the number, the denominator, a whole number, you do the same exact thing inside the house. So we move one place over here, one place over here, bring our decimal up to the top of our division bar. Now you just continue the same process over here. Just divide as you normally would. 34 can go into 57 one time. You're going to subtract 34. 7 minus 4 is 3. 5 minus 3 is 2. 34 cannot go into 23, therefore we bring down our 8. And you can just use guess and check. Look at, there's an 8 here. Something times, 4 times something will give you close to an 8. Just again, just a guess and check method. I'm going to say 7, because I know 7 times 4 is 28. It gives me an 8 here. So if I were to just check that, 34 times 7, I'm going to get 28. 8 here, 2. 7 times 3 is 21. 21 plus 2 is 23. So that's the guess and check method I use. It is 7 times. I'm going to subtract 238 from itself. And we're going to get an outcome of 0. So our answer is 17. Now to check this, you multiply the answer, what you got, times the denominator. And if you get this outcome, your answer is correct. I hope this helped you all. Again, if you have any questions, put the question inside the subscription or the actual commenting section, or just send the email if you have to. All right, see you guys. Bye.